Got some questions here. When setting up an LC2i Pro and amp, which one do you set first as far as gain? You know, this is a good question here. Whenever you're like with the key amplifier or the LC2i inverter DSP kind of thing, whenever you're setting with that gain there first, what I would do is do that one first. You start from the beginning and then you work your way back. So with your head unit that you obviously don't have, you can't adjust that per se. There might be a subwoofer out, but are you tapping into that? Maybe, maybe not. Say if you're just tapping into a full range signal that isn't, you know, cut off, or maybe it is, and that's why you're running that to restore some of the sound, like the kicker key lock does, and within reason, of course. So what you're going to want to do is set that gain first. And another way you can do that too is hook up where the RCAs are coming out that would your amplifier hook up to. All you would do, you can actually hook up a DD1 to that or any kind of O-scope and, you know, just see where you're clipping, look at the voltage, see how much power is coming out of there. So then you're thinking, okay, I'll set it just at around, you know, 2 volts, or maybe I want to set it up to 4 volts of pre-out and set it, forget it. Then you go to your amplifier and then you set your gain there because you're going to want to match that 4-volt RMS coming out of that line out converter to the amplifier. That's all you're doing with gains. It's not gain matching. That's with 2 different amplifiers, but you are going to be matching that gain with that source of the amplifier to whatever source, aka the head unit or your line out converter that you're running right there. Start your way in the beginning, work your way back. Because if you start on your back and then you start working your way forward, all those settings you did back there are going to all get adjusted to what you're doing up front because it starts from the front. Andy, why does this hobby kick us when we're down and test us to our limits constantly? Why doesn't everything just work all the time? Is that too much to ask? You know, I used to ask my mom that, and you know what she told me? She said, would you just look at it this way? People are gonna suck in life no matter what hobby you're in. Every cliche niche is gonna have pros and cons with it, and that's why, you know, when you do this stuff, you almost have to remember why you're doing it. Not for the likes, not for the shares, not for the views, not for the clout, but because you enjoy it. Because there's always gonna be negative people out there. I wish I'd just listen to myself more when I talk this, because it's hard. It really is. And just keep doing what you're doing. Just think with a clear mind, and you know, just put your pride behind you, and that's the best advice I could give you, man. And hey, appreciate that you're here, and it's always a learning curve. The more I've learned with everything, yes, I've learned that I don't know much, and the more I learn that other people don't always know more than me, you know, and sometimes they do, and those are the people that you want to associate yourself with. The ones that do, the ones that are smart, and usually they just tend to be a little bit nicer. I don't know why that is. Thank you for tuning in, Chad. Keep it up, dude. Thank you for starring this, J5. Appreciate you, man. Hey, Andy, I got a question. If I have a distribution block on my alternator with a power wire running to it, to the back battery, would the distribution block hold voltage since the battery is wired to it? Well, if you got a distribution block, it's literally in the name, it distributes the power. So it's just like a connection point, an intersection, if you will, for power to go through, back, forth, what have you. So if you have it on your alternator, between the alternator, let me read this one more time just to make sure. I got a question if I have a distribution block on my alternator, so I'm guessing it's just between the alternator and the back battery or front battery. Would that distribution block hold voltage since the battery's wired to it? Yes. All you would have to do is literally ground somewhere else of whatever you're connecting that distribution to. Like say you have your charge wire coming from your alternator going to the distribution block, and then you have the distribution block going to your rear battery, your front battery, your amplifier, however you have it. And then say you want to tap something that takes, you know, 12 volt, 14 volt in your car to that distribution block. you can absolutely do that. You just need to connect to a ground somewhere. You can either make your own ground by cleaning, you know, metal and sanding it down and making your own connection, or you can use an existing ground that's in your car if you got a front battery or not. Now, if you have a battery delete, which this might be the case, it's kind of the same thing of how a battery delete works in the front of the car, and it's like a distribution block. It's just pretty much the same thing because there's no battery inside of it. All you have to do is make a ground. You just need a ground and it would be 100% totally fine. I wanted to go deep into that because, you know, I could just tell. I look at a question, I'm like, okay, I gotta help this guy out. Thank you so much. I cannot read that name, but I like it. It looks fancy and it's got solos in it. Appreciate you tuning in. Catch the Livin Loud with Andy show every Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 or 10 o'clock Eastern. Smash the like and subscribe.